Hey everyone, Shane here with etrailer.com. Today I have a 2016 Dutchmen Kodiak Travel trailer. I'm going to walk through how to install the Specialty Recreation Skylight. This is what our Skylight's going to look like when it's installed. This is going to come in white or smoke. You can get them in many different sizes. You can find each one of those here at eTrailer. Installation on them is going to be the same, no matter what size you get. Some of them you can get with the garnish on the inside, some of you can get just with the dome on the outside. These are going to be great for direct replacements for an older worn out skylight that you may have on top of your camper. What's different about these is these are going to be made out of a polycarbonate. The material is going to help resist UV rays. It's going to be very durable plastic. The polycarbonate withstands impacts very well, so if you've ever had an older camper with a skylight on it, you've had a hailstorm, I know I do, and I had hail balls go right through mine. So this is supposed to hold up pretty well against it's supposed to have some pretty good impact resistance. Any one of these, you're not going to get the hardware with it. I would recommend getting an extra tube of sealant, and also I will recommend getting butyl tape. Now, as far as the sealant, there have been some questions whether you can use self-leveling sealant, and the answer is no. And I actually had the same question. The reason was why? Why could I not use self-leveling sealant on this? Well, the reason is because self-leveling sealant has a chemical in it that does not work with polycarbonate. It will actually break it down and make it weak. If it makes it weak, it's going to start cracking, it's going to start deteriorating, and you're going to potentially get leaks. So that's why you have to use the stuff that comes with the Skylight and not a self-leveling sealant. As far as the installation, as I mentioned earlier, no matter what size Skylight you get, the install is going to be the same. Toughest part about the install is going to be removing the old one, removing the old sealant so that when you put the new one down it sits flat and you don't have any leaks. If it's something that you may not have the time or the room to do, you can always check out our dealer locator, find someone near you that is capable of putting it in or able to. If it is something you want to try yourself, I promise you can do this in your driveway or in the street. Like I said, the longest part of it is taking off the old stuff. That's what's going to take the longest. The rest of it is very simple and straightforward. If you want to give it a try, you can follow along with me now and I'll walk you how to do it. To start your installation, you need to remove the sealant around the top here. That's going to give you access to the bolts that are holding this in place. Once we get this removed, then we're going to remove the rest of it from the rooftop before we put our new one in place. I'm just going to use a plastic trim panel tool. That'll help me not only find the bolts or the screws that are holding it down, but also help me peel off any of the old stuff from the roof membrane without tearing the membrane. Out of the whole installation of this, the new part, this is going to be the worst part of it. The most difficult part is getting this old stuff off and then making sure the roof is clean to where your new one will sit flat. Once you have exposed your hardware, depending on what you have, go ahead and remove them all. After you get your hardware removed, you need to take and start peeling some of this off away from the edge of this. Because what we don't want to do is you don't want to just grab it and try and pull it up, because all this sealant outside of the edge is adhered to the roof membrane. And if you go to pull it, what it's going to do is going to take this roof membrane and pull it off the glue that's holding it down to the wood. We don't want to do that as much as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to start pushing this back to this edge, and then we'll try to get underneath of it and just work our way around until we get this removed. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slowly start to work this underneath of here. Get it freed from the butyl tape. It may be easier if you have two trim panel tools. Just work your way around until you get that completely removed. Now we're not going to be removing the garnish. We're going to be leaving that in place. We're just going to be replacing the top. Now, once we get our old top off, we need to come back and clean all this off as much as possible so that our new one sits flat. Once you get the rooftop cleaned off, you're going to take your new cover, flip it over upside down. You're going to need butyl tape. We're going to take the butyl tape and you're going to cover all the holes that run along this whole end piece here. Once you get all your butyl tape put in place, go ahead and pull the paper off. Flip this over and get it in place. I will say, make sure you got it where you want it before you set it down. If you don't, butyl tape's going to stick to the roof membrane and you're going to have to reapply it or put new stuff on. Once you have it down, you're going to have a clear plastic coating on the top. Just a protective sheet to keep it from getting scratched. Now we're going to go around and we're going to install our screws into the holes. The reason I like to use butyl tape is because as we drive the screw down into the roof, the threads are going to grab that butyl tape and kind of pull it in the hole and help seal the hole. We want to make sure we are not over tightening these. We don't want the edge of this to do like a wave because it could potentially lead to leaks. We just want them on there enough where they're going into the roof and holding this down. Next, we're going to take our silicone that comes in our kit. Should come with your top. We're going to cut the tip of it at an angle. You're going to need something to poke down in there if your gun doesn't have one. Poke it down inside of there. And we're going to take it and then make sure we cover the screws and then along the edge, all the way around. Once you're satisfied with the coverage on all of your edges, you're ready to go. It's going to do it for a look at an installation of the Specialty Recreation Skylight on a 2016 Dutchmen Kodiak Travel trailer.